Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Twins Talk Arsenal. Today we're going to do the player ratings of the Arsenal v Leeds match on Valentine's Day. Um, firstly, what a performance before we get on to that. It was phenomenal. Four great goals from Arsenal, got the win. Can't really complain, can you, on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, Arsenal played very well today. I think the first half was obviously better than the second, but you can't ask for much more, really. It was a dominant display. I know we conceded 2 goals, but teams are always going to concede against Leeds. It's going to happen. I thought we were still we still played very well, and we rode out their pressure towards the end of the match as well. So big win coming off 2 defeats for Arsenal. Let's get straight into the player ratings. What was you feeling on Bernd Leno?
Yeah, definitely. On Leno, I think I'd give him a 6. 6.5. He obviously got the sending off against Wolves. He missed the Villa game, but he came back into the team. Solid performance. Made some good saves. I know we conceded 2, but they weren't really his fault. There wasn't really much he could have done about either goal. It was a solid performance from him. Can't really complain. I don't know if you had anything else to add, but then if not, what did you think of Cedric?
Yeah, let's bomb on Cedric. I thought decent performance from Cedric. He's been solid since he's come in, and it's been important that he's been solid as well because of the absence of Kieran Tierney. I don't think any of us thought that we were going to be without Kieran for this amount of time, and it sucks as well because Kieran's been a difference maker for us in a lot of games. But Cedric's come in and he's played his part really, and that's all you can ask of him. So I'd give Cedric I give him a 6 today. A 6. Maybe a 6.5. Not quite a 7. He doesn't offer that attacking threat that Kieran does, and I think you're always bound to compare them a little bit, but solid performance.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it probably is a little hard for him, him not being a left-footed player.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to Bellerin. I'll probably give Bellerin a 6 as well. I think he played very well. He got the goal. I think maybe the goal bumps it up a little bit. I was more thinking about how he got done for Leeds' second goal, which was
I was
knocking
thinking
it
about
out.
that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess if we're thinking about the goal, okay, fine, I'll bump it up to an 8. It was a very well taken goal. It was a very well taken goal. I think it was deserved. He was involved in a lot of the attacking phases. But he did get done for the second goal. And that's what for me does it a little bit. So I wouldn't rate him higher than an 8 because he got done a little too easily for their second goal. But credit where credit's due. He did get a goal, and he had a good game overall.
Yeah, I think I would have given him a 7. I think he got that goal, which was really important. I think it was his first goal in 2 years for Arsenal, at the Emirates for Arsenal. But then he's getting done for that goal that we conceded as well. I think he gets too much criticism from Arsenal fans, but today was the good and bad with him. Let's cover David Luiz. Came back into the squad after a pretty, not a bad mistake, but an unlucky kind of mistake that happened at Wolves. But he also put himself in that position to get beaten at Wolves as well. So important that he came back in today. And I thought he did well. He was spraying the ball around, linking play up very well. He's a solid defender, really. And I think Arteta's managed to kind of bring the best out of him. You're seeing less and less mistakes, although they are always there. So yeah, I think a 7 today for David. He's proved his worth more this season, I think, than he did last season. People were questioning when he got that contract, like if he deserved it. And he's a good player at the end of the day, and he's going to help the guy next to him, Gabriel, develop and learn. So hopefully that continues. What did you think of Gabriel? Because Gabriel came in ahead of Rob Holding today, which I thought was a ballsy decision from Arteta.
Yeah, it was. I think overall it paid off. I would give Gabriel a 7 as well. Just quickly touching on David Luiz while touching on Gabriel. I think David Luiz is one of those players that he's only as good as the players around him. And, in the past, he's been surrounded by, Mustafi, Socrates, etc. now he's got someone who's younger, who's more athletic, who's faster, etc., who's better in the air. To an extent, I can't sing Gabriel's praises enough. Don't get me wrong, he's still fairly young. It's his first season, so he's still transitioning, etc. But he's definitely the right profile for the player that we need alongside David Luiz. I know, to an extent, I think we've rated the defense kind of highly, given that we conceded 2. But they were really the only 2 chances that Leeds had, which were half decent chances. Apart from that, we controlled Leeds well. We kept them arm's length, definitely. I think it was a very good performance from Gabriel. He was making runs into midfield a good number of times as well, helping us to overload Leeds in the midfield area. I can't really sing his praises highly enough. I think he's been a great signing, and it was another solid performance. Definitely there was maybe question marks as to why Holding was left out, but both David Luiz and Gabriel showed why they should be in the team at this moment in time. And it's good that Arsenal have that choice, which Holding can come on, and he'll also do a great job.
Yeah, and you know what, with the congested fixture schedule that we've got coming up, having those players to be able to rotate is going to be important, especially when we've got Benfica, Man City, Benfica, Leicester in the next 10 days, I think. It's going to be pressure on our team, especially with the amount of traveling that's happening. Gabriel, that man is a full-blooded unit of a defender. Great to see him playing for Arsenal and to see him develop. Let's run up to midfield. I'm going to start with Dani Ceballos, right? Because I'm not the biggest fan of this guy. I think, personally, right, I think he's a squad player. I think he keeps talking about wanting to play for Real Madrid and kind of putting Arsenal in the shadow a little bit. And I don't think he's good enough to play for Arsenal. So that kind of annoys me, the kind of disrespect that he's always I know he's at Madrid right now, but he's always just yeah, you know what? You're asking me about Arsenal, but I'm going to speak about Real Madrid. And then you're hearing this week that Real Madrid are happy to sell him for 22 million, right? So I've not been the biggest fan of the guy, but today he played very well. He kind of filled in Partey's position, links the play up very well, and was also decent defensively as well. I'll give him a 6.5, I think, today. He didn't blow me away, but he was solid. He's better than he's been in different games before. Saying that, we 100% should not sign this dude, especially if we're looking to sign Odegaard. I haven't got room for him in the team with Partey and Xhaka fit.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. And even in similar light for Granit Xhaka, I think it was a solid performance from him. Again, he kind of, in my mind, our first choice midfield pairing is Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka. In my mind, Granit Xhaka showed again why he should be, the partner for Thomas Partey. Again, he was good defensively. He covered for Cedric when Cedric was out of position. Covered for Bellerin at times when Bellerin was out of position. It was another solid performance. Good passing. It's one, he didn't do anything spectacular, but to an extent, sometimes it's not being spectacular, which is a good thing. He didn't do anything spectacular in a positive sense, but he was disciplined. He stuck to his task, and kind of like David Luiz in the past, he's one that he's been error prone and this and that, and there was none of that today. So it's clear signs of improvement, and I think it was another disciplined and solid performance from him.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Xhaka played very well today. Talking about, I'll cover Emil Smith-Rowe. I think the guy's had better games. He came off early-ish, didn't really influence the game loads. Although saying that, his assist for Auba's goal was a unreal assist. I think he didn't have as much influence in the game as he would have liked, but you've got those flashes of brilliance which that guy brings, and he's really been the difference, I think, in Arsenal's turn in form this season. I'll give him a 7.5 actually. He drifted in and out of the game, but the moments where he was in the game, he was setting up beautiful chances. So yeah, big up Emil. I think he needs a bit of a rest. So hopefully Arteta can kind of give him that with rotation in the next few games, because we don't want him to be injured. We know he has a bad injury record, but played well today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he came up with a moment of quality for Aubameyang's third goal. So yeah, I think he's fully deserving of it, and he's carried on the consistency from recent games, which you can't complain about. Moving on to Odegaard, I think I'd probably give him a 6. He didn't do anything too spectacular, but he hasn't played for nearly 2 months for full games. He's the first Premier League start. He's coming into a new league. There is an adaptation period, which he has less of because he came in January rather than coming in the summer, generically speaking. At times I think it was a tough game for him. He did drift in and out as well, but he showed good. He had good touches. He showed promise. I mean, I think for a first start, very young player. There are areas of improvement, but I think it was a solid first performance from him, and definitely a sign of things to come.
Yeah, he's going to grow, I think, into the team. There were a few misplaced passes today where you could really see what he was trying to do, but the other guy just wasn't there, or he kind of misread the situation a bit. That will come with time. I think he's going to be a great signing for Arsenal. And also, if he doesn't quite hit his stride during his first 6 months at Arsenal, maybe we can sign him, and Madrid will let him go. I've got my fingers crossed that Zidane stays at Madrid so that we can get Odegaard, because I think he's a quality player, and I think that will come. I'm going to I'll cover Saka, so you can cover the big man up front. Saka, like every single time I cover this boy, it's unreal performance, influences the game, and he is a teenager, dude. He is a teenager, and he is by far and away the best teenager in the league. I was looking at a list of the teenagers that have scored in the league this season. Hudson-Odoi, who's on 90k a week, 100k, 120k a week, something like that. I
think it's even more. I think it's even more than 150, 160.
This man is on 160k a week, and Saka is blowing him out of the water. Chelsea will be lucky to have him. Every single game this guy plays, he influences the game, he intimidates oppositions, and he makes stuff happen as well. Should have got a goal. I was vexed that he didn't pass. I think he should have crossed it instead of shooting, but he hit the post, so I can't criticize him much. But yeah, this guy is the real deal. Needs to keep progressing under Arsenal, but I give him an 8 today. Would have been a 9 if he had crossed, but he didn't. So it's an 8 for me for Saka, and looking forward to seeing him develop.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, just what I'd quickly add to that is, he ultimately got 1 assist for Aubameyang's goal from the penalty. Could have easily been 2 if the second one wasn't ruled out by VAR. Unlucky not to get a goal as well, but yeah, definitely. He's scored 5 goals this season, I think it is.
Yep.
No other defender's got more. No other teenagers, has got more than 1. So I think what we need and what we are getting from him is consistency. He had a good season last season. What you wanted to see is he's had 1 good season, 1 breakthrough season. Can he maintain it? And obviously, we've got to see how things go towards the end of the season. But he's shown he can maintain it. You look at someone like Mason Greenwood. Everyone was raving about him last season. What's he doing this season? Where is he? So
shade dropping on Man United right there.
So, well, yeah, but I mean, credit to Saka, credit where credit's due. He's maintained that consistency and he's shown what he's about.
Yeah.
I mean, do I even really have much to say on this final rating? I mean, this is a solid 10 out of 10 right here. What can really be said? He stepped up ultimately when Arsenal needed him, made the difference. He had 2 chances created, 5 shots, 3 on target, and all 3 were goals. So, what can you really say about him except, you've just got to applaud him. What can you really say? Definitely the best forward we've had since Thierry Henry, and it's games like this that show it.
I would say maybe Van Persie. People are going to hate me for saying that, but Van Persie was a quality forward as well, probably on that level as well as those 2.
He was. The only reason I'd single out Auba as, maybe a slightly higher level is because of Van Persie's injury record.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think Van Persie on his day definitely had it in his locker, But I mean, when you look at performances like this from Aubameyang, it's just clinical. There when Arsenal need him most. You know, everything was good about Abba's performance today as the lone striker. He held the ball up well. You know, he was clinical when he had the chances. He brought others into play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just all round a great performance, and you know, hopefully there's more of this to come. We've got a tough fixtures coming up, and yeah, hopefully he can maintain this, get on a good goal scoring run of form, and yeah, I mean, keep doing what he does best.
I agree. Big performance from Auba. Unlucky not to have a fourth, and also I think a good thing that he wasn't injured when the game ended. Hopefully, we can see him have a few games now in a row where he kind of scores, because the last few times that he scored when he's been on that kind of dry spell, he's missed the next game always for some reason. So after this, I want to see him play the next game. I want to see him keep developing. But big performance by Auba today. This is why we pay him the big money. This is why he is a world-class striker. That man is clinical. So yeah, looking forward to seeing him smash Benfica and Man City out of the park as well.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to the three subs. If I start with Willian, because he came on first. Willian, I mean, if I'm being generous, maybe a 5. I don't know. I think it's tough. I think he came on when Arsenal were, you know, dominant, winning by a dominant scoreline, but Leeds were on the ascendancy, trying to get goals back. So to an extent, I think it was hard for him to come into that type of game. But again, maybe I'm being too critical, but he's, you know, in theory, he's got on his CV, he's got the experience, etc. I don't know. I do expect more from him when he's coming on to these games. He hasn't come on with 5 minutes left. I don't think it was for a lack of trying, to be fair to him. You know, it was more the game management, the position that Arsenal and Leeds both found themselves in at that point in time. But I don't know. I expected a little bit more from him. He didn't do anything, you know, anything noteworthy kind of thing, which we pay him so much money. I don't know. I just think you expect a bit more from him, and it sounds bad, but he is a bit of a disappointment when he comes on. We expect more from him, and you know, we see it time and time again that we don't get it. So yeah. I don't know. I think a 5 is as good as I can give, unfortunately.
I think I'll jump onto El Neni. I think the same with that guy. I think it's hard for us to give ratings for these guys. Like, they weren't bad. They just didn't have loads of time to actually influence the game, and they didn't really create much. El Neni kind of gave us that steal in midfield that we needed at the point, so I'll probably give him a 6. But apart from that, you know, it was a standard performance. We weren't creating loads at that point, so I can't rate him higher than that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for Onena, he gave us the legs when we needed them, kind of thing, in the middle of the park. As Odegaard tired, so yeah, I think, you know, he didn't do anything too spectacular from an offensive point of view, but at the same time, he brought Arsenal what they needed at that moment in time, kind of thing. You know, moving on to Holding, I'd probably give him like a 6 as well. I think, yeah, it's definitely tough to rate Holding. You know, he only came on for the final 5-10 minutes if you include stoppage time. But, you know, it was a solid performance while he was on the pitch. You can't complain. He made some good headed clearances, made some vital interceptions, but it wasn't on the pitch long enough for us to give him a concrete rating, so to speak. But no, in the time he was on the pitch, he was solid, and it shows why the choice for the centre-back 2 is such a hard one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll quickly cover Arteta before we wrap this up. I thought Arteta, I always give this guy high ratings, right? And I think today I'd give him high rating as well. You know, he made some ballsy decisions, and they worked for him. Like, he played Auba instead of Lacazette. Pepe, he also kept on the bench. Pepe has been looking confident, and he was rewarded for both of those decisions as well. We played very well, and you know, there was a time where Arsenal would give away a 4-0 lead, as we had done before. And this time we didn't, and we've got that defensive solidity to be able to see these games out. So for me, I'd give Arteta an 8. A lot of people are going to criticize Arteta for bringing Willian on instead of Gabriel Martinelli. I kind of don't blame him for it. Like, you're paying Willian a lot of money. You know that there is a good player in there. he just needs to kind of find some form. So surely the best kind of game to bring him on is a game where we're leading, like at the time I think it was by 3 goals, or was it by 2 goals? But we're like leading in the game. Surely this is the kind of opportunity to bring Willian in. He's trying to play Willian into form. It's not working at the moment, but I don't blame him for it. I can understand why he's making these decisions. So yeah, I think Arteta did very well today. And the team that he picked as well was the team that smashed Leeds 3-0 in the first half. So he made all the right choices. David Luiz straight back into the team and proved his worth as well. So, big up Arteta. I think he did well, and I'm looking forward to seeing him continue to develop as we give him more money and transfers so he can build his team rather than playing with a mix of Wenger and Emery's teams.
Yeah, definitely. And what I would very quickly add to that as well is, it was a tough decision, I would say, to bench Pepe. He's played well in recent games, scored some good goals, etc. But, what I would say on the other hand is what it allowed is by putting Emil Smith-Rowe on the left and having Odegaard in the number 10 position in the middle, and then obviously Saka on the right. What it allowed is for us to have a lot of midfield players which are, competent with the ball at their feet, can do quick 1-2 passing football. And it helped to speed up the play of Arsenal. Whereas you do see sometimes with players like Pepe, they get the ball at their feet, maybe they try and take a player on, it doesn't work. Or, it's the mindset. They're thinking about taking a player on, but then they're not confident enough to do it. But that time delay while they're thinking of what to do has slowed the game down, and Arsenal aren't as quick on the counter-attack or whatever. Yeah. So, by us benching Pepe in this game, it allowed us to put in more players like Odegaard, Emil Smith-Rowe. We can control the game better. There's more one-touch football. And I think that decision by Arteta was massive in us racing into a 3-goal lead at half-time. Like, it's maybe a minor point, but yeah, I think, great credit to Arteta for doing it. I think it definitely helped to enhance our performance against Leeds. And also it was willing runners as well, putting them onto the pitch in Emil Smith-Rowe, Odegaard, etc., Saka as well, rather than someone like Pepe or Willian who might not track back as much. So, I think again, it was another, to an extent, tactical masterclass from Arteta. He got the key decisions right.
Yeah, agreed. Cool. Do you want to sum up?
Yeah, I mean, overall, it was a great performance from Arsenal. Great win. Aubameyang hat-trick on Valentine's Day. Can't complain. But yeah, I mean, we'll leave it there and on to the next one. Hopefully we get a good win against Benfica. And yeah, we'll create another video, be in touch. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment as well if you feel that there's anything you want us to discuss or anything additional to be talked about, and we'll be happy to do so. Thank you guys and have a great evening.